FBI reveals Diddy secretly fled the country and was never in prison.
Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, once known for his lavish lifestyle and living large in his multi-million-dollar mansions, has a new home as he awaits trial in his federal trafficking case. Last week, the Bad Boy Founder's defense team unsuccessfully fought to keep the music producer out of federal jail after his arrest. Now his new digs once house other high-profile inmates, including R. Kelly, Fetty Wap, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Diddy is currently housed at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, a stark difference from the glitz, glamour, and wealth in Hollywood and Star Island in Miami Beach, Florida. But MDC Brooklyn has been described as hell on earth, with horrifying conditions. The facility, which now houses Diddy, opened in the early 90s and is the only federal jail in New York City after the Bureau of Prisons closed its Metropolitan Correctional Center in 2021 after many issues came to light in the wake of Jeffrey Epstein's suicide just 2 years earlier.
If Sean Combs is focusing on things he cannot control, he will have a miserable experience. When he can call home, when he can visit, the living conditions, exercising maybe an hour a day, showering a few hours a week, if he fixates on that, it is going to be miserable, and every day will feel like a year. On the other hand, if he can learn from those who have come before him and master the experience, my business partner served 26 consecutive years for a nonviolent crime, including 8 years in the penitentiary. He never complained. He focused on his family, trying to prove worthy of the love and support of his family. If he can do that, the experience, it won't be easy. I'm not insane. It will be more bearable. The choice is up to him.
And as far as we know right now, he has been kept in solitary confinement, or the SHU right now, and he's been on suicide watch. How different is that experience from being in the general population?
It's much harder. If you like to be around people, you like communication, if you're an extrovert, and then suddenly you were isolated 23 hours a day on total lockdown, I'm not spinning that it's difficult. It will test the strongest mind, but he has to understand others have gone through it and emerged successfully. And what he and his lawyers have to understand is they have like a messaging problem.
The entertainment world was shaken when the news broke that Diddy had been arrested on serious charges, including racketeering and trafficking. For weeks, fans and media believed that the once untouchable music mogul was finally facing justice. But now, an even more shocking twist has emerged. Rumors are swirling that Diddy never actually set foot in a prison cell. Instead, the story suggests that he managed to secretly flee the country, evading authorities entirely. How could one of the most famous figures in the world pull off such a bold escape, especially when the eyes of the world were watching?
They continue to say things that do not get them closer to what they want, which is bond. It's led to indictments. And if he can begin to introspect and kind of reverse engineer some of his choices and recognize it is my decisions alone that have led me here. And if I can communicate differently moving forward, maybe the ultimate sentence, even if convicted, could be better, perhaps could lead to bond eventually. But it can be very difficult in segregation, and his lawyers have to stop blaming and excusing and talking about how difficult the experience is, because here's what a judge is going to say. If you were so concerned about what these filthy living conditions would be like in a detention center, if you were so concerned about your safety, you wouldn't have obstructed justice. You would not have, according to the government, created victims over a sustained period of time. Until he changes his message, more problems are going to follow.
And Diddy allegedly has been accused of using different drugs in the past. Even prosecutors have said on the night he was arrested that there was allegedly pink cocaine in his hotel room.
There's no question. People who know they're going to prison who have been on medications, either illegal or illegal, it would be wise to understand the Bureau of Prisons might not prescribe you what you like. And if you're taking illegal drugs, unless you're engaging in the prison hustle, you're not going to get it. It would be easier to get the drugs and engage in the prison hustle in general population, but not when you're on lockdown for 23 hours a day. So certainly it is a brutal adjustment if you are on no drugs, but certainly if you are withdrawing, isolated 23 hours a day without getting things that you can get the snap of a finger, it makes the decision or the process that much harder, which is why I can assure you, based on what happened with Epstein, the high profile nature of the failures of this prison in the past, including some judges not even sending prisoners there because they were so concerned about their safety, you can expect staff is watching him, not 22, 23, 24 hours a day. They do not want more problems.
And this is a man going from private chefs and food from across the world to a set menu just like any other detainee or inmate.
This incredible story has raised countless questions. Was the arrest a complete fabrication? How did Diddy manage to disappear without a trace? And where is he now? With whispers of a meticulously planned escape, powerful allies, and the possible manipulation of legal systems, this saga is far from over. As the FBI continues to dig deeper, new details are emerging that suggest this may be one of the most elaborate deceptions the music industry has ever seen. Let's break down how Diddy, a man at the center of a storm of controversy, managed to pull off the ultimate vanishing act. Diddy's alleged arrest. When news broke of Diddy's arrest, it felt like the world had stopped. The media erupted with stories about his fall from grace, and fans were left in disbelief. He was accused of serious crimes, racketeering, human trafficking, and corruption, charges that, if proven, could ruin his career and reputation forever. Everyone assumed Diddy was being held in a high-security facility awaiting trial, yet behind the scenes, some noticed odd details. It just didn't add up, said a close industry insider. How could someone like Diddy, with so many resources, be taken down so easily?
You know, you go back and you look at Hollywood and you've got everybody talking about that Harvey Weinstein and Les Moonves. They were only the latest of generations of violation that happened. When people chase greed in entertainment, in music, they make compromises. And parents tell their kids, when kids would get involved in this, oh, you know what? You don't want to look at the gymnast. Remember the doctor was violating gymnasts?
Or whatever
and
his name
some
was.
of the parents said, well, stay away from him, but you don't want to be off the team. It'll ruin your Olympic chance. And they finally, God bless them, they stood up to the National Gymnastics Board and everything about it. This is people chasing greed, and there's a price. And parents have been enabling it. You know, Vinny, God bless you, you're talking about, would you as a parent do it? A lot of parents have looked that in the eye, that monster in the eye, and they said no. They didn't want to blow their kid's chance for fame, and they let it go. This is about chasing greed.
Rumors started swirling that his arrest wasn't as clear-cut as it seemed. Whispers from those close to the situation suggested that Diddy may have never actually been taken into custody. Instead, the whole situation may have been staged, possibly as a distraction to give him enough time to slip away. It was all smoke and mirrors, one source suggested, but how could something so high profile have been orchestrated without anyone noticing? As the world believed he was locked away, Diddy may have been planning the next stage of his escape, proving once again how unpredictable and clever he could be. The FBI's secret investigation. Long before the arrest, the FBI had been quietly building a case against Diddy. For years, they monitored his business dealings, personal connections, and rumored involvement in illegal activities. According to some reports, they were compiling evidence that would finally bring him down, tracking every move in hopes of catching him off guard. "We were certain we had him this time," said an FBI agent speaking anonymously. But even as they thought they were closing in, Diddy was already several steps ahead. FBI's investigation revealed the depth of Diddy's influence. He wasn't just a celebrity with money. He had built powerful connections across various industries, making him nearly untouchable. We knew Diddy had ties to influential people, but we didn't realize how deep those connections ran, the agent added. By the time the FBI was ready to make their move, Diddy had already put his escape plan in motion. It's said that the FBI was shocked when they couldn't find him in custody. Was this all part of his master plan, or did he get tipped off by someone on the inside? The investigation continues, but many believe that Diddy's wealth and power allowed him to manipulate the situation and evade justice once again. The Great Escape Plan. Diddy's escape was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a meticulously planned operation, designed long before the FBI ever knocked on his door. Those close to the mogul suggest he had been preparing for this possibility for years. Diddy always knew that his lifestyle and business dealings could catch up to him one day, said a longtime associate. He had an escape plan in place from the beginning. According to insiders, Diddy had stashed away enough resources, money, forged documents, and even alternate identities to disappear without a trace.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended performances with male commercial workers.
Private jets, remote locations, and well-placed bribes all played a role in his escape. He reportedly used a network of loyal associates to execute his plan, ensuring that no detail was overlooked. It's believed that Diddy left the country in the dead of night on a private jet, heading to a location where he couldn't be easily extradited back to the United States. "He's always been a step ahead," said one source. While everyone thought he was behind bars, he was already gone. As the FBI scrambles to figure out where he went, Diddy's great escape is quickly becoming one of the most talked about stories in recent memory. Where is Diddy now? Speculation about Diddy's current whereabouts has been rampant. Some say he's hiding out in a private compound on a secluded island, while others believe he's taken refuge in a country with no extradition agreement with the United States. "He has the resources to disappear anywhere in the world," said an industry insider. "We may never find him unless he wants to be found." Many believe that Diddy is living in luxury, continuing to control his business empire from the shadows while evading capture. Some reports suggest that Diddy has been spotted in various countries, from South America to the Middle East. These sightings have not been confirmed, but they fuel the theory that Diddy is always on the move, staying one step ahead of the law. "He knows how to keep a low profile," said a source close to his inner circle. "He's a master at blending in when he needs to." The question now is whether Diddy will remain in hiding indefinitely, or if he plans to make a dramatic return to the public eye once the dust settles. The role of Diddy's inner circle. Diddy's escape would not have been possible without help from his trusted inner circle. For years, those closest to him have remained fiercely loyal, protecting him from potential scandals and legal troubles. "Diddy's inner circle is like a fortress," said a former associate. "No one gets in or out without his approval." It's believed that several key figures in his circle helped coordinate his escape, using their connections and influence to ensure that Diddy could leave the country undetected.
As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson.
The people who have stood by Diddy through thick and thin are not just employees, they're confidants, friends, and in some cases, partners in his business ventures. Their loyalty to Diddy runs deep, and they have a lot to lose if his empire crumbles. "They know that if Diddy goes down, they go down with him," said one insider. "They're all in this together." Some believe that these individuals have continued to manage Diddy's affairs in his absence, ensuring that his businesses run smoothly while he remains in hiding. The media frenzy and public reaction. When rumors began circulating that Diddy had fled the country, the media went into a frenzy. News outlets across the globe scrambled to cover the story, with speculation and theories dominating headlines. "It's the biggest story in entertainment right now," said a leading entertainment journalist. Fans and critics alike were stunned by the possibility that Diddy had managed to outsmart the authorities and disappear without a trace. Social media was flooded with reactions, ranging from shock to admiration for his audacity.
This video I made of celebrities that live on Star Island, you know, that homemade island out in Biscayne Bay. I have Rick Ross, I have Gloria Estefan. Check it out. So here is Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez. Yes, I said Alex. They actually purchased it in 2020 for $32.5 million. I wonder who has custody or if they share it on the weekends. It's a beautiful mansion. And here is Gloria Estefan and her husband Emilio Estefan's Star Island mansion that they purchased in 1986. So word around the island is that Mr. Rick Ross is under contract for this $37.5 million mansion. Here is Rosie O'Donnell's former mansion. She purchased it in 1999 for $6.7 million and sold it in 2016 for $16.5 million. Nice job. And Diddy owns both of these mansions. He bought the first one in 2000-ish and the second one in 2021.
Many fans were conflicted. While some expressed disappointment in his actions, others admired his ability to evade capture. Only Diddy could pull something like this off, tweeted one fan, while another commented, "This is wild, but I'm not surprised. He's always been a step ahead." As the story continues to unfold, the public's fascination with Diddy's escape shows no signs of slowing down. The media's relentless coverage has only fueled the mystery, making Diddy's disappearance one of the most talked about events in recent history. FBI's efforts to track him down. Despite Diddy's successful escape, the FBI has not given up on finding him. This is a high-priority case, an FBI spokesperson stated. Agents have been working around the clock to track Diddy's movements, using every resource at their disposal to locate the fugitive mogul. From monitoring his financial transactions to following leads about his possible whereabouts, the FBI is determined to bring him to justice. He may have slipped through our fingers, but we're not going to stop until we find him, the spokesperson added.
And off the top at 5:30, we continue to follow breaking news out of Star Island. Several law enforcement agencies are raiding the home of hip-hop mogul P. Diddy.
And tonight, we are learning it may be tied to alarming allegations. Let's get right out to CBS News Miami's Larry Seward. He joins us live from the scene with what we know so far. So, Larry, what can you tell us at this point?
Authorities not confirming very much beyond the fact that this is part of an ongoing investigation started by Homeland Security Investigations in the state of New York. Behind me, that is the entrance to Star Island. You can see the Miami Beach police car there at the entrance. If you look to your right, you can see this is where the Homeland Security Investigations are set up with their command post. We've seen not only HSI police, we've also seen an FBI agent and numerous other officers going in and out of the house that is behind it. You can see the beige complex there. That home, we understand, according to property records, owned by Sean Combs, or Diddy as he is known. That property, again, being searched at this hour. We also know, obviously, Sean Diddy Combs has properties in Los Angeles and New York. We understand from our colleagues in Los Angeles that earlier today, helicopter hovered above one of Diddy's homes there, that a similar law enforcement they showed up there as well to search the property. It's not clear exactly what they're searching for or the details of the investigation. We've asked Homeland Security about that. They're only saying that this is part of an ongoing investigation led by New York, but obviously the properties in Los Angeles and the property here in Miami being searched as we speak. We're going to stay on top of this story and bring you more details as we get it. But back here live, you're looking at, again, HSI police setting up their investigation at this house. You can look and see in the driveway, the gate, it looks like that gate has been disabled because it's sort of just leaning up against the pillar on the side as they're backing a van up into the property. Again, we're going to try to get as much information as we can. We've talked to neighbors. They told us that these police officers showed up about 2 or 3 hours.
If there's minors involved, then he should be punished. But if he's just a freak doing some freak shit with adults, I couldn't give a f***. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why anybody should give a f***. For the fact that the feds was in his house, and knocked down the fucking gate, and Stevie J said a fucking tanker on Star Island. I've been on that island 100 times. Ran through the gate, disrespectful like some next shit. You know what I'm saying? Why all of that? Why all of that show? When they went to go see if Trump was, like being reckless with classified fucking documents, that could put the fucking world in arm's length. Did they use a tank for that? Did they? Did they actually think this man is gonna have?
The FBI is also investigating those who may have helped Diddy in his escape. It's believed that several people within his inner circle are now under investigation for aiding and abetting his flight from justice. We're looking into everyone connected to him, the FBI official continued. The Bureau is also working closely with international agencies, hoping that global cooperation will lead to Diddy's eventual capture. However, given Diddy's resources and influence, many wonder if the FBI will ever catch up with him. Theories about his future plans. As Diddy remains in hiding, many are wondering what his next move will be. Some believe that he will lay low for a while, waiting for the heat to die down before re-emerging. He's a smart guy. He's not going to make any rash decisions, said a former business associate. Others think that Diddy may be planning a more dramatic return, perhaps even staging a public comeback once he believes it's safe. Diddy loves the spotlight, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finds a way to turn this whole situation to his advantage. The associate added,
Good morning, Brian and Natalie. I got to tell you, my thoughts reading the 14-page indictment yesterday were that there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are probably worried about which Diddy parties they were at and what was going on. That's not to say that they were necessarily even involved in any of the things that are alleged by the U.S. Attorney's Office. But if you're at that party and it turns out that that's when he set up one of these freak-off sex parties, or that it was going on in another room and you didn't know about it, there's a good chance that you're going to be called by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And certainly if you were involved, you would get a call because they're going to want to know everything you want to know and may even want you to be a witness. I just think, we're just starting to scratch the surface of what this case, this case is going to touch and involve. And the feds have said that this remains an open investigation. Really, the way this works is once they find out other people are involved or were witnesses, they bring them in and they sort of lean on them, and it's sort of like, you're going to cooperate with us, or there's a possibility that you could face charges. So this is going to be a slow developing case here, because we're just getting started, and I don't see how this trial begins anytime before next year.
There are a lot of wild allegations in those documents that came out yesterday, including 1,000 bottles of baby oil. What surprised you the most about what you read yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, that one, Brian, was definitely an alarming graph of the indictment when you read that when they raided, I believe it was the Miami home, where they found 1,000 bottles of, and they said that these were items that were used at the freak-offs. There were also large amounts of drugs, they said, cocaine, ketamine, Molly, GHB, the rape drug. So, they said that the house, according to the feds, that was stocked for these parties that were.
There are also rumors that Diddy may be working on new business ventures while in hiding, continuing to expand his empire from behind the scenes. Just because he's in hiding doesn't mean he's stopped working. A source close to Diddy said he's always thinking about the next big thing. Whether he chooses to stay hidden or make a triumphant return, one thing is clear: Diddy's story is far from over, and the world will be watching closely to see what happens next. As Diddy's escape continues to captivate the world, one thing is clear: his story is unlike anything we've ever seen before. From a high-profile arrest to a daring international escape, Diddy has once again proven that he's a master of keeping the world on its toes. But what happens next? Will the FBI finally catch up with him, or will he remain out of reach, continuing to run his empire from the shadows? One thing is for certain: the saga of Diddy's escape is far from over, and we'll be here to cover every twist and turn. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more updates on this ongoing saga. Thanks for watching.